Here in California, Washington, Indiana. We moved a lot. For 30 years, we moved really. We try. Ryan, you can get out of here. Yeah.
I think we'll just kind of have you stand, maybe,
That's awesome.
maybe just kind of stand right here behind the placard. Like you did before, right?
Should I
Yeah.
say who's here before I start talking? Or just say
So.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Do you want to sit there now?
You can hand this out. We got this on 3
Tom, this is a certificate that you did for the task force. I thought it would be nice.
Very nice.
So we can hold it up, take a picture maybe. Are we ready?
Yeah, let's go ahead. All right, we're going to get started. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. We're here to celebrate the passage of the most significant school safety law since the very first one in 2007. Some of you have already heard me say that school safety is a very high priority for me. My nightmare when I took office is that on my watch, some maniac would invade a school and kill 20 kids, as has happened in other states and could happen here. And the parents would never recover from that. I know that because I lost a child as well. And if they knew that the school could have had a police officer to protect the students and didn't, you can imagine how the parents would feel about, and that we pay for it, imagine how the parents would feel about that decision-making. So I've been pushing very hard for schools to have police officers that we pay for from an appropriation we got from the legislature. And we've increased the number of police officers in the schools from 190 to 535, 565. 565. And we hope eventually to get them into all the schools. And the value of the program was demonstrated recently in Tucson, where a maniac did invade a school. They had a police officer for only 2 weeks. And he was an experienced police officer. He saw an open gate. He investigated. He found a guy with a gun and a knife who said he was going to kill the students to make them famous. There were 20, it just happened to be 20 students there, as well as some adults. And because he was experienced and brave, he knew to act immediately and not wait for backup. And he arrested him and saved all those lives. And he'd only been there 2 weeks, so by the skin of our teeth, we avoided that kind of tragedy that other states. So that illustrates the incredible importance of this program. The bill resulted from a task force that we had that included legislators from both parties, equal numbers of Democrats, equal numbers of Republicans, to make recommendations for school safety. This was back in December of 2023. And then this bill resulted from that. And the most important part of the bill is that retired police officers can serve, until now they had to be currently licensed. Now retired police officers in good standing can serve. They're perfectly capable of doing that job. And that's very important because just as we have a shortage of teachers, we have a shortage of police officers. And so we need all the available that we can get. And this is a tremendous benefit to have the retired police officers available. There are also some additional provisions in the bill that I think, I'm so pleased Matt Gress, the sponsor of the bill, who's the chair of the Education Committee in the House, may want to talk about some of the other provisions in the bill. We're proud that he's here. But a quick summary, it provides for training on civil rights, privacy, and adolescent mental health issues, as well as for the police officers to know how to deal with special ed students. And I have a certificate for Chairman Gress, the certificate of appreciation for his participation in the task force. So congratulations, Matt.
Thank you.
And if anyone take a picture.
We got Catherine.
It's okay,
There we
Kat
go.
got it. Kat
You
got
got
it.
it?
Yeah, okay.
Excellent.
So Matt Gress.
Well, thank you, Superintendent. It's a pleasure to be here. We've worked really hard, all of us. It's been a big team effort to get the legislation over the finish line. This is our second session, our second try at it, and we succeeded. Today, we mark a meaningful step forward in our shared duty to protect Arizona's students, not with rhetoric, but with real reform. House Bill 2074, which was signed by the governor yesterday, is a vital piece of school safety legislation that will help ensure that every child in every corner of our state is safeguarded in their place of learning. And I want to begin by recognizing the leadership of Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tom Horn. Superintendent Horn's commitment to school safety and his efforts in convening that statewide school safety task force to focus on this urgent issue has been instrumental in driving this legislation forward. His leadership reflects the very best of public service: thoughtful, proactive, and resolutely focused on the well-being of students, not just in school safety, but in a host of other issues. Now, here's what we know, that in 2024, 2025, the Arizona Department of Education issued 818 grants, school safety grants. But what many don't know is that a good chunk of that money, we estimate it to be about $33 million, of that funding went unused, not for lack of need, but because schools simply couldn't hire the personnel they were authorized to hire. This bill fixes that. House Bill 2074 expands the authorized use of those grants so that schools can not just hire full-time officers, counselors, and social workers, but also qualified retired law enforcement officers. It also allows unused funding to go toward essential infrastructure, locks, crisis response training, and other critical physical upgrades that make a difference in moments that matter most. But the legislation does not stop at dollars and cents. It demands accountability. Schools that receive these grants will now be required to complete updated safety assessments. And we heard about the lack of complying with that law in an Auditor General hearing last year. Most importantly, House Bill 2074 ensures that students with disabilities are not an afterthought. Every emergency plan must take their needs into account. We are saying clearly, the safety of every child matters. No exceptions, no excuses. This law is thoughtful, it is practical, and it is responsive to the realities that our schools face every day. Let us not forget, school safety is not a partisan issue, it is a moral imperative. And with House Bill 2074, we take one more step toward making every school in Arizona a place of learning and a place of safety. Thank you all. And again, I appreciate Superintendent Horn for this this commendation. It was a work of joy, sometimes a work of frustration, but we got it done, and it was a team effort. All of us had a role to play in it. So I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt, and thank you for your leadership in getting this passed,
Of course.
as well as in a lot of the education issues.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Steve Jew, President of the Arizona School Resource Officers Association. Steve?
Thank you, Superintendent. Just want to represent Arizona School Resource Officers and the association that represents them. This bill allows further development and enhancement of the already existing school safety program, which we have found to be the most proactive thing that we could possibly do in policing. This is another step in the direction to build those positive relationships with our school communities. And we're grateful for the leadership of Superintendent Horn and individuals that were involved in the task force. And very excited about seeing positive results come from this after years of experience personally as a school resource officer and as president of the association. I have seen so much quality go into school policing here in Arizona. And we are moving forward in a positive direction. Grateful for this opportunity to share in this bill that is passing and be a part of this momentum that we have here in Arizona to collaborate. No matter which side of the aisle you're from, no matter which position or role that you play in a school community, it builds the quality of our climate. It improves the positive interactions our youth have with adults on their campus. And we're really grateful for this chance to be a part of this legislation.
Thank you, Steve. Our next speaker is Pam Kelly, a current Phoenix Union teacher. Pam?
Good morning. This is really exciting because today is actually State Employee Appreciation Day. So we appreciate everybody who worked on this, and also Governor Hobbs, who I have a background certification in teaching and counseling, and I know that she has her degree also in social work. So I really appreciate, I think this is just a fabulous, fabulous day. I know that not just my school district, Phoenix Union High School District, which has also been recognized by the nation as being one of the most progressive school districts in the nation, but all schools in the state of Arizona. So Officer Friendly used to be in our school before COVID, and kids would love to go talk with him. He was a mentor. He was a role model. He would intervene with students. He was also very proactive. He would help with issues to prevent altercations on the campus. Classrooms, there was much improved behavior in the classrooms, which is also correlates with teacher retention. Teachers were happier, students were happier, families were happier. Our campus discipline referrals were decreased. I'm happy to see that we're not going to be putting our administration and our security team that are not trained police officers having to deal with altercations because they're not trained. So this is a fabulous day. Students and staff do better. It's more conducive to learning when students and staff feel safe in their learning environment. I think this is probably one of the most wonderful days for Arizona. You can look at research, valid and reliable research that school officers on campus reduce discipline referrals by 30%. National surveys also show that students feel overwhelmingly positive about a police officer on campus. So I think this is fabulous because not only are police officers, whether they're retired or it doesn't matter. They've had the training that they can be proactive and preventative as far as things happening on campus, but they're trained and they know how to react and do it quickly if there's an emergency and they're needed. So there's going to be a lot more calmness, positive environment. I know teachers have actually left the field because they do not feel safe in schools in Arizona without school resource officers. So thank you very, very much, and happy State Employee Day to everybody. Thank you.
You have my notes.
Do I have your notes? Yes, you need.
Thank you, Pam. And let's hope the Phoenix Union Board changes their mind about accepting the police officers that we would pay for and that the schools and the administrators have requested.
Yes,
So we got our fingers crossed that they'll change
Yes.
their mind.
yes.
The next speaker is Susan Groff, a retired Phoenix Union teacher.
Thank you. Every parent wants to know that their child is safe at school. This bill gives schools the tools that they need: trained officers, better safety planning, and real accountability. It's not political, it's just the right thing to do. I read this over to my daughter and she said, well, you know, it's not just the students, the employees at the school might be parents too. And I'm like, oh, that's correct. We are parents too. So it enhances the safety for everyone at the school. House Bill 2074 is about giving schools more tools, and it will keep the students safe with more flexibility in hiring trained officers and more funding for safety and technology planning, more accountability, and a thorough emergency response plan with regular safety assessments. It's about prevention, preparation, and protection. And it has bipartisan support, so it's something we should all be able to agree on. Thank you.
Our last speaker is Mark Williams, a retired Phoenix Union teacher. And if you wonder why we have so many people from Phoenix Union, it's because Kat Barrett, Associate Superintendent, taught there, and so she has good contacts for us. Tom?
Good morning. I'm Mark Williams, and I retired from Phoenix Union, I think twice. Retired once, and then they asked me to come back, and I finally wised up and retired finally. There's a part of me, I guess maybe because I'm older, there's a part of me that doesn't understand why we have to do this, why we need the legislature to do this. We do, but this should be a common sense decision made by every school district in the state. Safety first. And part of being a leader, school boards, I'm talking to the school boards now, part of being a leader at a school board level is to listen to those you lead. And Phoenix Union, for example, from the superintendent on down, it was probably unanimous. Everyone's going, we need this. Give us the tools to teach. And it's the school board who waved it off. If you were going to change, now, school resource officers, school safety officers, counselors, all of these people, all of these human beings that we're pumping into this system will not stop a shooting. It's just, if someone's deciding to go and kill people on campus, it's going to happen. They're a deterrent. They're an excellent deterrent. And I have worked with many of them. They're tremendous human beings. But if someone wants to get on, they're going to get on. Where you find change is influence through relationship. You put a school resource officer in uniform on campus, and they're going to develop relationships with those kids. And it's like a duck, and all of a sudden little ducklings come around them. And I've seen it. They want to stand and they ask questions. And the resource officer stands there and answers anything that they got. He's still a police officer. She's still a police officer and has to do her primary or his primary sworn duty. But I have seen him play basketball in full turnout. And they're not very good at it. Actually, some are, but they are in a relationship and they're influencing young minds who have been influenced at home to say, you need to dislike police officers. Maybe they have an experience. Maybe their uncle was arrested, and rightly so, for selling dope or for whatever. But that taints them. Here's an opportunity to put a human being that they're scared of, supposedly, in a relationship. And that student will walk away going, well, that was different. That's not what I've been told. And I have seen lives flip to the point where they become police officers. So this is an excellent bill. It's giving tools to districts, to staff, saying, we hear you and we're coming alongside. And one big issue always is money. Superintendent's eliminated that. The legislature has eliminated that. Now what's going to be your excuse? Give us an excuse to not do this. Influence through relationship. That's what we're buying with this. And that's where you're going to see change. Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent.
Thank you. And I will add that in addition to the relationships that Mark talked about, we're very proud of the police officer in Tucson that did in fact stop a shooting. We're very proud of him. So now we're open to questions. Yes.
And I don't know if Mike, I don't know where he went. If you want to go up there too, maybe you could answer some of them as well. But with this legislation, obviously the money goes towards SROs and SSOs. But then do school districts need to fund them first and the counselors and then be able to use that money towards everything else? Or can they use it at their discretion?
Well, did you want to answer, Mike? I can answer it. Let me just say a few words and then you can talk. The big problem that we've had is that police stations or police departments unwilling to send police officers to the schools, even though the position's been paid for, because they're short, just as we're short of teachers. And hopefully, as attitudes improve, they won't be short. But right now, people are reluctant to become police officers because of some bad attitudes in society right now. And so Mike very creatively found a solution in part-time. People who, they take their day off, and so we have to have 5 of them in a school, which is not as good as one being there all the time. So the big thing about this bill is that it makes more police officers available because now we can use retired police officers. That's the big recommendation that came from the bipartisan task force that we formed, and I think that'll make a big difference. Mike, if you want to say any more.
So I'm Mike Kurtenbach, Director of School Safety here at the Arizona Department of Education. If I understand your question correctly, so there's a provision in the bill right now, prior to the passage of 2074, the bill only paid for positions. If you cannot fill positions, then there's an opportunity to use those monies for either safety training, safety technology, or infrastructure improvements, but only if the position cannot be filled. So you have to apply for a position first.
Thank you, Mike. Other questions? Yes.
Does this provide extra money, Superintendent Horn?
I
Or
don't
does it
think
just
so.
provide a lot?
No, it doesn't provide extra money. We've had money to provide, to fill positions that the schools couldn't fill because the police station couldn't afford to give them a police, because they needed them on the street because of the shortage in police officers. Now this makes retired police officers available and it helps solve that problem. Yes.
Does the department fund a specific amount per district where they would have leftovers to be able to use those extra funds for safety, things within the schools, or is it a set amount?
Well, it's a set amount per police officer, I think, right? Go ahead.
So it's a set amount. What happens if, we'll talk about the position of a police officer. If a district would like a school resource officer or a school safety officer, they work with the agency in their jurisdiction. They submit a cost sheet knowing what the cost would be, and then that's what's allocated in the award.
And then if they can't fill the position and they can't find counselors to fill the position, then they can spend money on equipment and so on. Anybody else? Yes.
You have quite a few folks from Phoenix Union here, and you're still kind of in a little bit of a, I don't know if fight's the right word, but a difference with the board.
Well, the way I'm putting it is, we're asking the board very respectfully to change their mind, because these positions are so drastically needed that the teachers have requested them, parents have requested them, the schools have requested them, the administration has requested them. And the only people who seem to have prevailed so far are people who have anti-police ideologies. And we hope the board will change its mind. And of course, it wasn't a unanimous decision, so some of them are already with us, and we hope enough others will be with us to provide safety. If they don't do it, and somebody kills kids in one of the schools that have requested police officers, you can imagine how people are going to feel about those board members. But I wouldn't call it a fight. We're just asking them respectfully, please reconsider. Anybody else? If not, thank you all very much. We really appreciate you coming.
Can I ask you a couple unrelated questions?
Yes, yes, sure.
So I was hoping Mr. Gress, or Representative Gress would stay here. The legislature is looking at tying ESAs into the Constitution with Prop 123.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Because I know you're a very big proponent of ESAs as well as traditional district schools.
Right.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I actually talked to Matt about the question of the single subject rule, which the critics are saying might be violated by this. And he says that their lawyers are telling them that it's the same subject because it relates to funding of education.
You're the former Attorney General. You're a pretty smart attorney. What are your thoughts?
Well, I haven't researched this issue, but obviously I accept what the chair of the Education Committee tells me.
Can I grab one other question?
Yes.
Okay. Another question, another issue on charter schools. We've reported about Primavera with Amy Kramer, and they might be shut down by the charter board. He runs another school here in Arizona for a nonprofit called Verano Learning Partners, and they have $45 million sitting in assets. They run 2 charter schools here in Arizona. A large portion of that is invested in stocks and bonds. What are your thoughts about a nonprofit charter school operator having tens of millions of dollars sitting in stocks and bonds and not using that money on students?
This is new information to me, and I'll have to look into it, but I don't want to comment on something that I don't already know about. Anybody else? Thank you all very much. Thanks for coming.